Hello, everybody, and welcome to HCA's Pop Council. This is a show where we talk about everything in every fandom, from Marvel to DC, Star Wars to Lord of the Rings, and everything in between. I'm one of your hosts, Wendy Szany, and of course, joining me, as always, is my friend, Jami Philbrick. Hi, Jami. How are you today?
Hey, Wendy. I'm doing good. How are you?
I had a great weekend. It was rejuvenating. It was fantastic. We did a little project for HCA that is coming up that we will talk about on the show. How was your weekend?
The same, really good. Nice to have a couple of days off and get to see everyone or a few people from the HCA at our little secret project. So that was super fun as well.
And of course, Jami, we're talking about a lot of fun topics today. We're talking about Shang-Chi. We're talking about that Eternals trailer. We're talking about that, not about that leaked trailer, but what the studios jumping into action, what they did about that leaked trailer, new Cowboy Bebop news, and so much more. But we can't get into all this geeky discussion without a proper third member to fulfill our pop council. So I'd like to introduce everybody to a friend of the show, Laura Sirikul. She is a writer, she's a journalist, she's an awesome cosplayer, and basically like a superhuman. Let's welcome her to the show today.
Yay!
Hi, Laura.
Hey guys.
How are you?
I'm so happy. I'm really good. I'm so happy to chat with you guys. I'm so happy to finally be able to talk about Shang-Chi. I'm really, really excited that we get to really just talk about it before we
finally embargo has lifted.
You sign your life away. Now it's like freedom.
We're ready to go.
Ready to go. But hey, Laura, before we jump into all the topics and stuff, what we've been kind of trying to do is talk to, each, whether they're new to the Pop Council or they're returning to the Pop Council. What was the first piece of fandom, whether it could be comic books or movies or book, that kind of brought you into the geek nerdom?
It was Star Trek because my parents, my mom would TV is a babysitter. So what my mom would do is she would we lived in New York and we had a basement, and she had TV on there. The kids would just sit there and she would just leave the TV on. And I would watch The Next Generation. And I was always intrigued by Picard. And I was a kid. I didn't know, but I really liked Deanna Troi, and I really loved those characters. And so that's what really made my obsession for Star Trek. And then my brother also had Spider-Man comic books and all these comic books and He-Man toys. And I played with his toys instead of my sister's toys. So I think he got me really into it with Power Rangers and all that stuff. So it was really influenced by my mom not wanting the babysitter, and also my brother.
That's so cool.
My dad loves Star Trek too, so he likes the old school one. So when he found out I like Star Trek, he was like, "You should watch this." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
That's really fascinating. It's funny because we've talked about Star Trek on the show. Both you and Jami love Star Trek. And I, on the other hand, even though I was exposed to it, my dad tried, but I think I was, one, too young, and two, there was the language barrier because I had to read the Chinese subtitles for Star Trek. And it was very science and a little political heavy. For a kid to read. I was like, I don't like it. And then that kind of stuck. So I never really gave it a proper chance as an adult after I became fluent in English. So I think maybe I will try. But I love that you share that story with us with the toys and the TV shows. That's awesome.
Yeah, now it's still stuck with me, and I'm going to pass it on to future generations and stuff.
Yeah.
That's the way it should be.
You will watch Star Trek and you will like it.
You can be a Trekkie. I don't care what you say.
Order them Spock ears.
You're going to love Star Wars. You're going to love all this stuff. You're going to be a it's going to be everything.
That's perfect. Well, just a second ago, Jami and I were talking about how we worked on a little secret project for the HCA, which is I guess now it's not really a secret anymore because we're literally about to tell you all about it. And I would like to take this second while we're in the show, before we jump into all the geek topics, to talk to you about our upcoming inaugural HCA TV Awards. So we were actually supposed to do this in person. However, due to the rising numbers of COVID cases in Los Angeles County and in the US, this year's inaugural HCA TV Award will now be streaming virtually right here on this channel, on the Hollywood Critics Association official YouTube channel. And that will begin at 5 p.m. PTs or 8 p.m. ET if you're on the East Coast next Sunday. So that is going to be Sunday, August 29th. And obviously, without the in-person attendance. So we have also announced that we will be celebrating Bo Burnham, Marta Kaufman, Tom Ellis, Cobra Kai, New Amsterdam, and Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist with honorary awards at the HCA Awards. So here is a quick little sneak peek at our good friend of the show. I would like to make him friend of the show, Tom Ellis, with his award. So of course, yay! Congratulations to Tom. We are so excited for the upcoming award show. And again, that is next Sunday, August 29th at, 5 p.m. PT or 8 p.m. PT if you're watching us from the East Coast. All right, you guys, should we jump into some geeky news?
Yeah, let's do it.
So we woke up this morning and, frantically checking Twitter for any updates about that No Way Home trailer. But we're so happy to stumble upon this lovely image. And as you guys know, this is for the upcoming Cowboy Bebop live action adaptation for Netflix, starring, as you can see there, John Cho. We have Mustafa Shakir, and we have Daniela Panetta playing Jet Black, and Faye Valentine, and of course, Spike Spiegel, respectively. And I don't know about you guys, but I am loving the look that they're serving in these like sneak peek photos. Just look at, we know John Cho has been growing out his hair for this role. We've seen it. We've seen him training. He's a fan of the comics. We know that the original composer has signed on for the project. So, Laura, have you watched any of the anime for Cowboy Bebop?
I have. Yeah, because I love anime growing up too. Like in my later years, my tween years, I really love anime. So I watched Cowboy Bebop. Ian is my favorite character because Ian is a corgi, and I think that's what made me obsessed with corgis. Also King of England, but yeah, that those two things made me obsessed with corgis. But yeah, when they announced it, because I knew in my head I'm like, oh, it's like even though his last name's Spiegel, I was like, no, he's an Asian man, and so the live action he has to be an Asian man. And when John Cho was cast, I was like, oh my god, like I could see that because I always pictured him even when he still looks the same 20 years ago. So I feel like no matter what at what age, he would be perfect as Spike. So when I saw the pictures, I did actually side by side photo of Spike and him, and they look legit. Yes. They did a great job with the hair, with the makeup. There's the way that the way he holds himself in the picture with the headphones, and then also with the guns and all bloodied. I'm like, wow, this is Spike. I'm so excited.
Absolutely. And Jamie, have you watched whether it's the Cowboy Bebop, the anime series or the movie?
So I think I saw some of the animated series. I want to say maybe 15 years ago, played on the Cartoon Network, maybe. Is that where I possibly saw it?
Probably.
Actually, yeah. Yes. So I definitely saw a few episodes there, but I'm not as familiar with the source material as clearly both of you are. But I'm aware of it, and I know what he should look like, and I think it looks great. I think it's great casting to cast John. I mean, it would have not been good casting to go any other way. So I'm glad that get a big star or something like that. I think this was the right choice. Netflix can take some risks and do some things that I think a studio might not be able to do if they were trying to do this theatrically. Mm-hmm. So, the idea that, for me with any of this stuff, it's if you can capture the source material and be true to that and to the fans that love that source material, then that's a home run, right? That's the direction you want to be going in. And so, it looks pretty good to me. The images look cool. I'm excited, even though I don't know the source material all that much. I'm excited because obviously it's source material that people that I respect that like things that I like. So I'm willing to give it a try. And, and I think maybe for me, a live action, Netflix feature is maybe an easier way for me to kind of get sucked into the world, as opposed to if I tried to go back and rewatch all the anime or get, so I feel like maybe this will be a gateway for people like myself who weren't that into the source material or even aware of the source material to then become fans of the source material, you know, if the movie works and it is great. So I mean, you listen, I'll you know, let you know, whatever you guys think. If you guys think that this is the right direction, then I'll go with it, and let's wait and see how it turns out. But it looks pretty good to me.
Yeah.
I'll no, go ahead, Laura. I'm sorry.
Oh no, it looks so good. I'm just waiting on the image of Ed, like one of the characters. I'm waiting on that one.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Do we know who's been cast as Ed yet?
I don't think so.
Because
I don't think
they could get the same actress who's playing Sprite in the Eternals. Is she not? Steve Murphy agrees. It's perfect.
Yeah.
No, it would be great. Yeah, I think that would be perfect. One of the I want to like approach this like a little bit cautiously, is that maybe oh no, Jamie, we lost them. Okay, it's okay. We can talk about Cowboy Bebop. As much as I think these photos look absolutely amazing, I also remember my same excitement for the live action Death Note with that was also on Netflix by Adam Wingard. And I am also a big fan, you know, of that anime, but I didn't love the direction they took with that live action adaptation. So, and I liked the images that they had put out prior to seeing the show. So I'm really hoping that, you know, with the people involved, with how big these set pieces look, with, I mean, down to the way Spike's suit is kind of angled. So it kind of gives him that same angle that he has in the anime. I'm loving everything so far. And I know acting is going to be top notch because I love all of these actors. So that's just like a little bit of like the caution that I have going into this.
Yeah, I feel like they learn each time, like when they do an anime adaptation. So I feel like with Death Note, they figured out like this was what was wrong. We're gonna do better, and then this was what was wrong. We're gonna do better. So I feel like this one, and then plus it's John Cho is very picky about his roles. So I feel like if he's not gonna if it's not gonna be 100%, he's not gonna do it. That's how he's always been. So I feel like it must be really good then.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I'm fingers crossed. And, you know, for anybody out there who is curious about when this is coming to Netflix, the debut it is premiering on November 19th. So really not that far away. What, like 2 months from now? Yeah, just about. I'm excited. I'm excited for the soundtrack too. Like that soundtrack is going to sound so good. I don't want to hum it because I don't want to get like a copyright demonetized.
Never mind.
We'll just jam to it in our heads. Yeah. We got a question from the chat from Starju who says, outside of Wendy, what anime is show is your favorite? Maybe 3 different shows that you've watched that's been your favorite?
Sailor Moon. That's like a classic, you know. Everyone loves Dragon Ball, but then what else did I grow up with? I mean, the current Amazon series, like that's coming out, like it came out already. Oh my god, like I can't say it correctly, but I'm
trying to think of the one that you're thinking of.
Yeah, I can't say it correctly. I never was able to say it correctly, but it's like Evangelion. Yeah, like
Evangelion.
Yes, Evangelion. I grew up,
or whatever it's called. I also can't say it right but I'm also not looking at the word.
Yeah, I grew up with like watching it and had posters, but I never could say it because I think I couldn't. My tongue just couldn't say it growing up. But I really love that. Really love the characters and like the storyline. So. I haven't finished the Amazon. I haven't finished the Amazon one, but I'm really excited when I do because my friend was like, "You have to watch it." I'm like, "I know, I need to find time." So I definitely that was one of my favorites growing up. But Sailor Moon and then Dragon Ball, those are the standards. But like
Sailor Moon,
yeah,
absolutely. Jamie, did you want?
Yeah, Sailor Moon is a standards, but yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely. I definitely ran around in my like homemade, very shabby looking Sailor Moon wannabe cosplay, and I didn't care. I made my own little moon wand out of kitchen utensils. It was definitely got in trouble by my mom. She's like, "Don't touch these." Jamie, did you watch any anime growing up, or any ones that you've discovered as of late?
Not really. No, not didn't watch a whole lot. I mean, I've seen, some Ghost in the Shell and some of,
Yes.
Akira and a few things, but not I never just really got into it.
Yeah. That's okay. I think kind of like what you were saying earlier, we hope that for this live adaptation of Cowboy Bebop will, drive some interest for people to check out the source material once they're done watching, the Netflix version of it. So I'm excited about that. Moving on, let's talk about, and I wanted to put this on top too, because everybody was talking about it. It's been all over Twitter. I didn't watch it, but I'm sure you guys have heard that the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer got leaked on social media. And I definitely was like, should I mute the words No Way Home and Spider-Man from all of my social media, just because I don't want to be the first time I watched that trailer that everybody's been waiting for so long to see in some weird low res, bad angle, probably no sound. I don't know. I didn't see it. But according to the Hollywood Reporter, Sony made a very quick move to actually block this leaked trailer. Yeah, and I think that's obviously the right move. They, according to the Hollywood Reporter, they did not respond to comment. So Tom Holland apparently did refer to the news as the leak and posted a message, "You ain't ready," to his Instagram story. But that was it. He didn't obviously show like any images of the trailer or anything.
It was
anything
him. It was
like
him.
that.
Yeah, right.
He was
him.
because he's
He
so
did it.
bad with spoilers.
I was gonna say, I thought his tweet would be like, "I didn't do it. It wasn't me."
Not this time.
Yeah, right.
No. He's all like, "Was it me? No. Okay. No, that wasn't me. Okay.
It wasn't me. It was Mark Ruffalo.
That's what both of them are
Yeah.
really bad with keeping
Had a lot
secrets.
of trouble with both of those guys. Yeah.
Yeah, but props to the studio for taking very quick action. We all know that potentially this will debut at CinemaCon, which is happening today. So some of the tweets that had shared this alleged trailer were taken down. They got slapped with like a little copyright statement, quote, "The media has been disabled in response to a report from the copyright owner," which is like a big no, don't do that. So the Hollywood Reporter said that they did view the alleged leak and its content appeared to be legitimate, but there were no specifics that were shared. So we obviously don't know. I did not have my eyes on it, but, just reading from people's certain reaction, I guess, to this news, apparently there was some sort of like somebody's name was on that thing, which I feel terrible for. I don't feel like they're the ones that did it. I feel like something happened, but that is not the way we like to view a trailer for a long-awaited film. We want to, view the best quality, high res.
And the one that
watermark.
And the one that they want us to see. Yeah.
Exactly. So props to Sony for acting quickly on that. Strike it down. And I hope everybody at CinemaCon can stay safe and have a good time. What are you guys anticipating from this trailer? We've been waiting for so long. Everybody keeps thinking it's going to be this time or this time or this time. I keep getting text messages like, we think now it's this time. Jami, what is your excitement level for this trailer?
Oh, I'm super excited for this. I mean, especially with like everything we've been talking about over the last year, this one and that one's going to be in it and this thing and is it, Doctor Strange and maybe Daredevil and all these like rumors. Even if this trailer drops tonight, I don't expect a lot of those questions to get answered. Maybe we'll get an idea of what the basic plot is going to be. That would be, I think, nice. See what is exactly, Peter and Spider-Man's going to be going through in this one. Maybe a confirmation on Doc Ock and Electro, since those are basically already confirmed. But I do not think that big question about will the other Spider-Man be in that's not going to be answered in this trailer. I don't think. I mean, I would be surprised that they would put that out in the first trailer, right? Like maybe in the second one as we get closer. But even that seems to me like, if that's true, that's a secret they want to keep pretty close to their vest. At the same time, it's also intriguing to me because Sony is putting out the trailer. And, Sony is the company that had to stop this from leaking, not Disney. So I'm just I don't know. I don't know what kind of discussions there are between Sony and Disney as far as what can be revealed and what can't be revealed and when it can be revealed and who's in charge of deciding what is to be revealed when. So, it would seem to me that Disney would want to keep every secret that they could in this movie. And it seems to me that Sony, if they have Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, would want to promote Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. So I don't know what, those differences, how that's going to meet in the middle. But I would be very surprised if too many of our questions are answered after this trailer. I think there are going to be more questions after the trailer than any questions answered. But yeah, I mean, excitement level is about as high as I think excitement level is for any, Marvel trailer of the past, or I can't really, Star Wars trailer maybe. Yeah.
And Laura, what about you? Do you think we're going to get a sneak peek of maybe some of the other Spider-Men in this first trailer?
Yeah, I feel like I haven't seen any of the leaked stuff because I refuse to acknowledge that stuff. But I feel like in the first trailer, I feel like they're gonna do something that is gonna make us go like, oh my god, like want more. And then people are gonna bother Kevin Feige at every interview for about that. And then or the social media people of Marvel. I feel so bad. I'm very patient about like if they don't have the Spider-Man trailer today, I'm okay because I feel so bad for the Sony and the Marvel team and Disney team that deal with those questions like when is it coming out? When is it coming out? So, but I am excited that it's supposed to be today, and I feel like there's gonna be a hint. I feel like just imagine if we see the trailer and then the end we hear Andrew Garfield's voice or Tobey Maguire's voice and just the voice. Like that's
possible. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I think like because it's like dealing with the multiverse. So I feel like imagine like he's just going through something and like I put this in my theories thing. And I just feel like imagine he's just there and then you hear a voice like, hey, what's up? Like another Spider-Man voice. It could be Toby, could be Andrew, or it could be like Into the Spider-Verse, but who knows? But I just feel like it's gonna be a hint at the end that's gonna make us go like, oh, we want more. Like, why? Now it's like, why did the trailer happen? Now it's making me worse than before.
And we still have 3 months to go, I think. Oh no. Yeah, 3 months to go before we even get to see this movie, roughly. So you're right. And to kind of echo you guys' thoughts, I am also equally very excited to see this trailer drop. It's great if it drops today. If it drops tomorrow, so be it. Or whenever Sony is ready to, drop the trailer. I can be patient. And a friend asked on social media if Sony, and this is a very what if kind of a situation. So like, what if, they just never did a trailer and they never did any further like trailer type of marketing? Would you still go see the movie? And my answer was, heck yeah.
Yeah.
100%. This movie doesn't, I think the excitement for the possibility of who and what we get to see in this movie is exciting enough. I'm not saying like we're not going to see a trailer. We obviously are going to see a trailer at some point in time. But if it didn't, I'm still going to go and get a ticket or however they want to release it, if it's in theater and like do a day and date. But Wendy, my butt will be in the seat.
That's interesting because I've said for years, like, do you really need to do press for an Avengers movie? Like, do you really need to do press for the new Star Wars film? Like, those movies seem to have such a built-in audience that I don't know if you're spending, $100 million on promoting the Avengers. I don't know if that's resulting in no. I get it. But I'm just saying.
This is true, Laura.
No, I don't disagree with that. But I mean, just in general, like, I don't know that you need to promote those. And I think this Spider-Man especially, I think falls in the same category. Just to your point, Wendy, like, if there's not a trailer this week or at all, I don't think that's going to change how many people want to go see Spider-Man.
This is true. Yeah. I mean, my butt would be in the seat regardless.
Yeah. I think it would change it would affect the way that everyone wants to see it first then. And that would just drive COVID rates up too. I think.
Yeah. That's a no-no that's true.
Yeah. So
that would be a no-no for me. I'd buy 4 seats around me.
I'll just buy it in front.
By the whole roll.
Behind me.
But nonetheless, we are very excited for this upcoming movie. We will be talking about the trailer whenever they decide to drop it. So make sure you guys tune back in to Pop Council every Monday at 11 a.m. PT. But, we didn't get the Spider-Man trailer last night. We may not get it today, but what we did get was the very beautiful Eternals trailer that is coming out this year, this November. And just look at these gorgeous people, this gorgeous cast of the Eternals. The imagery is absolutely amazing that we get to see, in this trailer, directed by award-winning director Chloe Zhao. And we are seeing our first Celestials, which they look absolutely amazing. And we're seeing our Deviants as well. Going to our panelists, Jami, your first reaction when you saw this final trailer for the Eternals?
I mean, it looks gorgeous. It just looks great. And I love that we're getting more of the story. Now, in contrast to what I just said, this is a movie you do need to sell, right?
Yes.
This is a Marvel movie that they do need to sell, because even as a hardcore comic book fan, I don't really even know what this is. I mean, I knew that Jack Kirby, created this, and I read the Neil Gaiman kind of redo. But short of that, I mean, I, know the Inhumans characters from my childhood, Black Bolt and Medusa and Lockjaw. Like, they were more as sort of the outer space characters. And obviously, I mean, I tend to think that this is sort of what Marvel Studios wanted to do with Inhumans, but then the TV division took it. And so we can't ever do the Inhumans because we can't do anything the TV division did when we weren't running it. So this is another sort of outer space, family, galaxy kind of thing, gods sort of thing that they could tap into. So I don't know that these characters, as well as I know, even the Inhuman characters, who I certainly don't know as well as I know X-Men or some of the other, Marvel characters from the comics. So the way this trailer sort of introduces us to them, especially the main characters, and kind of lets it unfold a little bit. And I like the way that it answers all the sort of nerdy questions that all of us have right off the bat, which is like, why didn't they do anything during Thanos? Why did it, and all these kind of little connections, they're not shying away from that. So, I'm really interested in seeing like how the story unfolds and what like the full story of the movie is. Like, I think it's just sort of hinting at it in this trailer, but the direction from Chloe Zhao looks absolutely gorgeous. And, I'm excited for, if these characters work, if they all pop, the character, the writing, the actor, and all of that, if everything works, this is like a whole new, Marvel universe that's opening up within the Marvel universe. So it's exciting. I hope that it all works out.
Yeah, it absolutely all works out. Laura, your initial thought when you first saw this final trailer for the Eternals?
When I first saw it, it was beautiful. Like, it's Chloe Zhao. Like, it's her art.
Right.
And the actors all look beautiful. They're all award-winning and established actors. And so it was beautiful to watch them too. Like, just be doing what they are known to do, and they're amazing at it. And just watching them all just put together, like the art, in the background, and then the Angelina Jolie moving with her powers, and it's just like it's just such a beautiful thing to watch, and it's fascinating. And so it made me really excited and intrigued, because I don't know much about the Eternals. I don't think a lot of people have read the Eternals comic books, and so I'm intrigued to discover how Chloe created is building this world, and this world building of this new group that we've never really known about. So I'm really intrigued by it. Like, I trust her, and I trust the actors. So
yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I'm very excited about this because I just didn't think so soon after Avengers Endgame we would get another kind of ensemble cast already. But I think this is obviously the perfect phase to bring them in. We kind of, to get them to answer that question, why didn't you interfere? And they were saying that they shouldn't interfere unless it had to do with, the deviants. But technically, if you want to really get into the nitty gritty, Thanos is technically a deviant, like he's got the genes of a deviant. So why didn't they interfere? Then I haven't finished reading the comics yet. I'm currently, upon some friend's recommendation, reading the Neil Gaiman run. So I want to go ahead and finish that before I see the film. And that's what this trailer did for me. And the trailer before that was, it got me very interested to check out the source material. And you know how it can be when you don't know anything about the source material, and to be like, okay, well, there's like, for the Neil Gaiman one, there's like 7, and it can feel a little daunting, but at the same time, you want to learn so much about, you know, these beings and these characters and their stories. So I'm still just barely getting in there. I think I'm on like the 3rd one, so I still got a bit ways to go. But November, I still got 2 months, so I will finish.
Time.
Yeah, I've definitely finished before then. Going to the comments here, Trailer Gamer says, I am really excited for the Eternals, and I put my full trust in Chloe Zhao. Love the second trailer, way better than the teaser. I agree. I think the second trailer, we got more of like the meatier part of the story, as opposed to just like, it's pretty, we love these people, the Stark brothers are in it, it's fantastic. What else? So this one definitely made me feel a little bit more fulfilled. Should we move on to our next topic?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Let's get into the what ifs. Let's go ahead and get into episode 2. We're about to dive into some spoiler discussion here for episode 2. So if you haven't had the chance to watch the full episode on Disney Plus, we want to maybe like, you want to earmuff for like the next few minutes as we talk about this new episode. So this one, I've been very excited for everybody to see. We get to see what if T'Challa was Star-Lord, and a very different sort of trajectory than Peter Quill, where you get very different types of people that are in the Ravagers and different reactions to coming across, you know, the Star-Lord. And I think for me, that was one of the, because that was so early on in the episode when he, you know, runs into Jaime Hansel's character, who famously in the movie, I use that GIF or meme so much in my social media, the who? Star-Lord, man. I use that so much. And I know it's a what if, so I wasn't really even expecting the same response, but kind of being on autopilot as he showed up. Star-Lord, I thought he was going to, you know, I imagined the who, but Star-Lord, and kind of he went into being a fangirl. And oh my gosh, it is a pleasure to spar with you. And that just kicked it right off for me. I was like, of course, this would be the natural reaction to if T'Challa were to be Star-Lord. It's just that kingliness just carried over into another galaxy. What were you guys' favorite parts in watching this episode of What If, Laura?
You know what? It made me realize how bad Peter Quill is as a character. If he's not able to create all these things, because it is his fault that Thanos, you know, that happened and stuff. And with everything going on. And so I'm kind of like, wow, Peter Quill, wow. But yeah, like it felt very, like my favorite part, I think my favorite part was when it, you know, it's weird because like I felt confused about the Thanos situation where he changed and he became like a better person and gets along with his daughter. It was very weird to me, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, you know what? Like with T'Challa, which I associate with Chadwick, he has the ability to do that, and I feel like I felt like this was a good way to say goodbye to him too, the character in him, and it was like he made a difference, and that's why I was like, I'm gonna accept this, even though it's weird to me, but I'm gonna accept it because it's Chadwick and it's T'Challa. So when I watched it, like I opened my eyes like that, I'm like, wow, he made a difference, and that was what made. And also seeing a buff collector, that was weird to me. And how?
Oh my gosh! Yeah. Yes.
Like I was trying to think of Benicio del Toro, like, I'm like, I can't imagine that. And then Howard the Duck.
15 abs.
Yeah, that was weird. That was like, I was trying to think of Benicio, like, because I associate the actor and then like the character and the actor, and so that was weird to me. I'm like, oh, like I can't imagine Benicio del Toro like that. But I did love Howard the Duck too. Those are my favorite parts.
Those are great parts. I love the entire episode as a whole. Like, I think I was just surprise after surprise. Jamie, what caught you by surprise the most in this episode?
Well, probably the Thanos, which I loved. And just to Laura's point, like, what a great tribute to Chadwick, to T'Challa, to Black Panther, to all of it. I love the idea that T'Challa's goodness could have saved the entire galaxy. You know, the idea that, you know, Thanos just needed a good talking to. He just needed a sit down, you know? And then I thought that was interesting how without Thanos, and they talk about it, the sort of power vacuum in the galaxy, that then the Collector became way more fierce. You know, he was kind of a joke in the movies, and we didn't really see him much. You know, Thanos destroys him pretty quickly in Avengers Infinity War. So to have him really be a villain, and I have to say, you know, kudos to Benicio, because I thought from watching it, that was one of the voices that was replaced. I was like, that's a guy. Him. But it is Benicio. But it sounded to me like a guy doing a Benicio.
And it's a different vibe.
He played the character completely differently, which was great. And then now that he's gone, it's interesting that we sort of saw the tail end, the cliffhanger that, you know, Ego is really, I think, going to now be the power play. And because what's also interesting is, and again, to your point, Laura, I hadn't thought of it that way, that Peter Quill was so inept that he couldn't have done the things that T'Challa did. But Peter Quill, assuming his mother still died in this reality, didn't leave and go off and explore the galaxy. He's working at Dairy Queen. So when this guy comes who says, I'm your father and I'm a god and you're a god too, without having that relationship with Gamora and Rocket and the rest of his friends to kind of ground him the way they did in Volume 2, I fear that Peter Quill could be a bigger problem in that universe that we saw in this episode than maybe even Thanos was in our proper MCU universe. So that scares me. A dumb Peter Quill having immense power. But I loved how it all played. And you know, you mentioned Jaemun Hunsing's, you know, thank God they finally gave him something to do in these in the MCU. You know, like, you give him a meaty role, he can really do something funny and something great with it. So I thought that was great. I liked Nebula and that relationship with T'Challa, and really the Yondu T'Challa relationship, which we already, you know, we saw that relationship with Yondu and Peter, but I love seeing it with T'Challa, and then, you know, them going back to Wakanda at the end. It's a great episode. And it's a great, I mean, I like the first episode, but the first episode, the Captain Carter was almost, you know, paint by numbers, first Avenger, just insert her. And so I felt this was more what ify than the last what if. You know, it really takes an out of left field idea. And I hope that, and I know, because we've all seen the next episode, that's certainly the case with the third episode. I think it's kind of an out there what if idea. And I hope that more of the episodes take that sort of out of left field what if, you know, idea. But I thought this was great stuff to do with T'Challa, and what a great fitting tribute for Chadwick.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely perfect. The little tribute title card that they had up at the end. And I did hear from the internet sleuths that it's not the only episode to feature Chadwick Boseman's voice. There are actually 3 more episodes coming with his voice in it as well. So I look forward to those, just because as I, you know, obviously enjoyed his work very much. And the more I can get of him, the better. So that means we will be continuing to tuning into all the What Ifs episode and continue to talk about them right here on Pop Council. So make sure you guys come back, and we'll, you know, go into our spoiler discussions each week, including the next episode for next week. Let's go ahead and jump across into a different fandom for just a hot second here, over to the DCEU, because I really would love to talk about the news of the Black Canary movie. This is going to be for HBO Max, in the works, of course, to star Jurnee Smollett, who you saw already as Black Canary, making her debut as Black Canary in Birds of Prey. But this project also includes Misha Green, who you guys know if you watch Lovecraft Country, you know, was very heavily involved in that show, which also starred Jurnee Smollett. Jami, you and I have talked about various movies, DC movies, or sorry, movies featuring various DC characters, not theatrical release, but on HBO Max. That includes the Blue Beetle one as well as Batgirl. What is your thought on hearing about Black Canary also for HBO Max?
Well, first of all, I love Black Canary, and because as you probably know, she is the wife of the Green Arrow in the comic books, and the Green Arrow, as Laura, if you don't know, is like my Star Wars. That's my Star Trek. That's my thing is Green Arrow, and so I thought she was the best part of Birds of Prey. I absolutely loved her character and what they did with it and her performance. So the idea that they're not starting fresh with a new Black Canary, that they're going to use her and kind of adapt her story from Birds of Prey. Great. Love it. I've heard some rumors, and these are completely rumors for a while, that DC has been taking meetings with actors about a Green Arrow. And I would love the idea because I loved the Arrow TV series, but I do think that, and I think most fans will agree with this, they dropped the ball on the Dinah Lance character. They had to they made her Laurel, and they didn't really know what they were doing in the first season. They made it more Batman Begins, and then it really became like the Arrowverse. And, no offense to Katie Cassidy, who played that character. I thought she did a great job, and it was much better when they made her the Earth 2 villain Black Siren. That was, a better fit for her. But I always felt like Black Canary as a character kind of got short shrifted in the Arrowverse. So the idea that maybe we would have a Black Canary feature film where the Green Arrow is just a background character, you know what I mean? A side character to her where it's really her story. That is very exciting to me. And I would love that idea. The HBO Max of it, I mean, I have the same point of view I had when it was announced for Blue Beetle, when it was announced for Batgirl, and I think even the Superman, the Val Zod Superman that Michael B wants to do. Right. I think that's an HBO Max. I don't like that. I think that those characters deserve to have theatrical and, get the big exposure that, Henry Cavill's Superman and Robert Pattinson's Batman and these characters get, Ezra Miller's Flash. I would love, I don't like it doesn't sit well with me, the idea where, saying that these characters, these female characters and Jaime Reyes and characters like that are only going to be on HBO Max. But that's, that's their problem. I'm excited that we're getting them in any live action form. So as a fan, I'm just happy that we're getting them. And she was great in Birds of Prey. So I actually thought she was like Oscar level.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, I really, really loved her supporting performance in that movie. So the opportunity to see her do more with the character is very exciting.
And Laura, what about you? What do you think HBO Max is kind of doing with these characters? Are they kind of, I don't know, using the streaming platform as an incubator for all these characters before they say, let's go to the big screen, but like, let's ensemble it? Do you think that's something they're working at here?
Yeah, you know what? What I really love is HBO Max also has Doom Patrol and Titans, which is an amazing series.
Season 3 so good. Okay, sorry.
It's so good. And Doom Patrol is coming back, and it's amazing. And I feel like you could, with HBO Max, you have time to cater to the characters and grow them. Especially with Journey and Misha. They worked together before, and Lovecraft is one of the best series out there. And what was out there, and it was just such a great, like, they had a great partnership, and so I trust them to create this great partnership. And I feel like HBO Max is an incubator, but it's also really great to just develop the characters versus if you do like a full movie, it's just that one moment. Versus I feel like they could do multiple things with the character on HBO Max with the platform.
Well, but were these announced as series or as a film?
No,
I thought this was just a one-time film, right?
They could do multiple though.
Oh, sure, yeah. Oh, I see.
Okay.
Okay.
Like if you do theatrical, you have to go through so many hoops. But if you do HBO Max and it does well, maybe they can
right.
And then the funding's actually easier too. Like if you do it within, so I feel like it has more room to grow. Like to grow within there. It's like a movie. It's like, okay, the movie did so well, we're gonna have another, and then maybe they could build it outside because she's part of that universe. So, but it's good to just grow her and then move her forward. Kind of like how they did it with like they're doing it with the shows for WandaVision,
Right.
and it's like and it's connected.
Yeah. That's what I would like to see, because I know these comic book universes, whether you're talking about an MCU or the DCEU, it's so big, it's very vast, and it's not an easy task. I think sometimes it's for when we talk about things like this, we as fans imagine like it could be so easy if you just link this and this because these people have these connections and you just put them all together. But it's really when you come down to to take a look at it and you put everything on the table, it's a lot to produce and make sure everything, all the boxes are checked, all the stories are told right, and you have everybody scheduled, you have to juggle. It's a whole thing. So I think sometimes as fans, we get very excited about the possibility of seeing our favorite characters come together. We want ensembles, we want to see the whole universe kind of come together and play out on the film, but it's like definitely easier said than done. But nonetheless, I'm very excited for Journey Smollett and for Misha Green, and I can't wait to see Black Canary whenever it comes out on HBO Max. And with that said, we're going to go ahead and jump back over into the MCU because the review embargo has finally lifted for Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, and all three of us, luckily, were able to watch it, ahead of its release, which is September 3rd. This film, directed by Destin Daniel Cretton, it stars Simu Liu, Awkwafina, Tony Leung, Michelle Yeoh, and Mengar Zhang. And okay, I'm just so happy we can finally talk about it because I've been so afraid to does this sound too reviewy when I want to, just slightly talk about it. So let's talk about your initial thought when the credits rolled, and yes, there are post-credit scenes. After that, and you're walking out of your theater, what was going through your brain, Laura?
It was a lot to process, and I was excited. I loved it. My reviews out, and I came out there because I felt good. I enjoyed it. I wanted to process it more. Everyone's like, "Oh, wait, I'm waiting for your tweet. I'm waiting for you. Oh, how was it?" And I'm like, I need to process it because it is a lot to take in, and it's one of those things where you want to say the right things because this is a big moment for a big moment for us, and I wanted to say it right if I was going to say anything because I think I was more shocked about like when you're taking it in. So when I walked out, I was just like, I'm trying to take it in and really because it was beautiful. Like the martial arts was beautiful. The Tony Leung was beautiful, and it's just it's a lot to take in and process. I felt excited. I felt relief. Actually, I felt like I was like, oh, okay, thank God. I feel like okay, it's good. Good, thank God. Okay, and so that's what I felt when after the credits rolled. I was just like, oh, okay, all right, we're good, guys. Okay.
Yeah, I felt the same way where I feel like I had this certain expectation. One, because it's, a Marvel film. Two, it's almost an entirely all Asian cast, minus Razor Fist. And I just I felt like the portrayal and the representation was obviously really important to me. And I wanted that to, I was what story are they going to tell? They're going to be able to tell it well. How are they introducing this character who has literally never been mentioned so far in the MCU, even though he's existed in the comic books? And I walked out of that theater very energized and very happy. Jamie, what were your initial reactions coming out of the theater?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was terrific. Murphy really liked it too. You can hear
yes,
it.
Murphy.
Murphy,
agrees.
calm down. Come here, buddy. Come here. So I really enjoyed it. Now, Wendy, I texted you afterwards. My only problem, and this is all my fault, I viewed the movie through the wrong prism, as I thought that the movie took place at a particular time in the MCU timeline, and I was wrong about where I thought it was. So I watched the whole movie thinking that it took place in the 5 years between Infinity War and Endgame, because the actress who's sitting at the dinner date with them, the two couples, she says we live in a world where half the population could just disappear in a moment's notice, and she doesn't say and then return 5 years later. So in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, they haven't come back yet. and I'm watching the whole movie through the prism of this is in that 5 years. Again, my mistake, no fault of the filmmakers, or my head was just in the wrong place. So I'd love to see it again, viewing it through like this takes place, because then without giving anything away, there's an end credit scene, and that's when I was like, oh, this takes place, or the end credit scene took place way later. But then talking to you, Wendy, and kind of putting me in the right direction. And thanks to the director, Destin, who actually cleared that up in a press conference as well. Again, the confusion is not the filmmakers. It was my own confusion at 11 a.m. Morning screening. But that being said, I mean, I absolutely loved it. The action sequences are amazing. Without giving anything away, the movie delves into fantasy. Is that fair to say? Sort of fantastical elements at the end, which I thought mixed very well with the martial arts and the natural elements of the real world that were sort of presented, right, Murphy? That were presented
says yes.
throughout the film. Awkwafina, great. Loved that relationship.
Yes.
Loved that they really took a different route at going to maybe eventually getting to the place that, you know, you would normally think that type of relationship would really kind of start at in a movie like this. And the fact that they let it really kind of, you know,
be natural. Yeah,
be natural. It's not forced at all.
It's very organic.
It's so organic, no forcing. I mean, listen, if they stayed platonic, I'd be happy with that. I love that.
Yeah, and they could
platonic
too.
friendship.
Yeah.
I love that. If they go a little beyond platonic, I mean, they've earned that too. So I'm good with whatever direction. She was really funny. I thought she was great. Loved the cast. Loved what they did with Wenwu. The way that they sort of adopted certain elements from the comic books, but then just sort of got rid of all of the iffy elements from the comic books, right? So I thought that, and then without giving anything away, there's MCU Easter eggs, right? There's MCU things dropped throughout the film that I thought worked really well, and loved seeing those elements. And can we mention Trevor Slattery? Is that a spoiler? I think it's been.
No, because he was at the premiere.
Yeah, he was. Right, I agree. Anyone who shows up at the premiere is not a spoiler there in the movie. So yes, I thought Benedict Wong was great. I thought Sir Ben Kingsley was great. That's a very good point, Laura. If you show up at the premiere, you are not a spoiler. I agree.
Oh man, yeah, this movie exceeded my expectation. Obviously, story. I really enjoy telling this story, and like what you said, Jamie, to echo your thoughts. You know, they pulled certain things from the comic, and then they left certain things in the comics, which I think overall gave us a really nice, solid story. I did have a little bit of a problem with like kind of the second half, like third act of the movie, where it got a little exhibition heavy for my liking, to the point where, not that it wasn't important what they were telling us on the screen, but I felt like it stopped the energy that this movie had going, where everything was kind of on an upward trajectory, and then they dropped this bit of exhibition in there, and then they had to pick it back up. So I wish that was either spaced out better or placed better, but nonetheless, the information was important. And I was happy to receive it nonetheless. So that's just a little bit of nitpick. I want to touch quickly on the fighting action, the action sequences. I love seeing inspirations of the wuxia fighting style, of the Jackie Chan fighting style, using your surrounding. And it's not just, you know, punching people in the face and high kicks and side kicks. It's, you know, a lot more. And that makes it very interesting to watch. And I think it makes a different type of, you know, an Marvel action movie than some of the previous Marvel film, which I think Marvel does a good job at. You know, I'm trying to think of each like individual standalone movie and its fighting styles, and it honestly has been different every time. You want to take a look at, you know, Black Widow to Thor to the way Hulk fights, and literally everybody fights different. But this one was a lot of fun to watch on screen, because these were longer sequences, so I ate them up like there was no tomorrow. And I also enjoyed how much Chinese they spoke in the film.
Yes.
That's when I felt the representation. I was like, yes. And it wasn't just like, let's just throw a word in here and there. It was, these are long extended scenes with, you know, the actor is speaking Chinese with the English subtitle, and I was like, yes, I'm
Yeah.
here. And the translation was pretty on point.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
For the most part. So, and it's just like little minor differences that you still get the gist of what they were saying. So it's not like they translated anything wrong. So
yeah, I think this
yeah.
was right up there with Black Panther as being one of the best solo origin story films that MCU's done. I would put that right up there with Black Panther. I thought it was super solid. And I also think it's great that Awkwafina stars in 2 Fantastic Dragon movies in the same year.
She is a dragon.
Yeah.
That's right. I forgot about Sisu
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
with her fun hair.
I mean, I the thing is, it gets a little bit confusing too sometimes because she was the water dragon, and we see a water dragon here,
Right.
which is not. It's in the trailers and everything. And so it, like I'm at the point where I'm like, it was good, like I liked it, but I'm kind of tired of dragons because we're always associated with like dragons or phoenixes, and so I'm kind of like, we have other creatures, like they featured the other creatures, like the Zion.
They did.
Yeah, Zyland. Like I wish those were, and the Hate. Like I wish those were the featured like characters, because like then people can learn more about that. And we're not just dragons and phoenixes. We're more than like different characters. But like the pacing, I agree. Like that was like it got convoluted like at some points, but and some stuff felt unearned. But everything else, like the action was amazing. Like it didn't take away from the action. It didn't take away from the heart of the story. And it didn't take away from how hot Tony Leung it was. And like, and so yeah, like the whole thing. And I love the subtleness of Asian Americanness. I know Wendy, like we saw the Mandarin, but we also saw like subtleness of like what Asian Americans go through, where we like taking off their shoes, like grandma asking, like, or someone asking you, hey, when you getting married, and those kinds of subtle things that I'm so glad that the movie gave us, because it gave us not only Chinese, like an East Asian like representation, but it also gave us an Asian American representation. And everyone's like, what's the point with Katie? And I'm like, no, Katie is someone like me who was born and raised here.
She's most of us.
Yeah. She represents like the people who are like, my Chinese is crap. Like that's just how it is. And I just felt like, oh man, she's seeing the world in the different eyes. And I like that about her, about the character. She hit every cue, every comedic cue. But that's why I felt like the movie was like, it was just an Asian American and also Asian like film, like or the westernized Asian, like that diaspora. Like I felt like, man, I felt connected that way.
Yeah, absolutely. I felt a lot of pride and I felt represented as I watched the film. And I can't wait for everybody seeing it on September 3rd when it finally comes to theaters. It's going to be a fantastic, good time, like easily two buckets of popcorn's worth type of movie. And before we go, and I know we're out of time, but I want to just quickly say how much I appreciate Mayor Zhang in the film. She is, if you don't know her name, get used to seeing it, because I think she's going to be in a lot of films moving forward. And this isn't her first, acting gig. She's been doing this for a while, but it is her first intro into the MCU. And I am looking forward to many, many more great things about her. And you guys, that is it for us. We are all out of time. We want to thank all of you for hanging out with us today. Most importantly, we would like to thank our honorary council member, Laura. Thank you so much for taking the time, for coming on to talk all the geeky stuff with us. Where can everybody find you on social and some of your work? You got some very exciting reviews popping up on really cool places.
Yeah. So I you can find me on Twitter at Laura Sirikul. And my review is up on Empire Magazine, so you could see my full thoughts on the movie on there as well. But yeah, like and you could find my work in different places. What to Watch, Nerdist, IGN, like the Nerds of Color. So I write for a whole bunch of different places. So you could always just find my Twitter, and I'll be tweeting about it.
And if you like BTS, she posts a lot about BTS.
Oh yeah,
So.
BTS. So I love K-pop.
Go there for your.
Yeah, just be careful. If you do follow me, you will see some K-pop stuff.
And Jamie, where can everybody find you on social, whether or not you're posting about BTS and K-pop?
I'm probably posting about the Grateful Dead. Summer tour is on the way. John there. They were just playing out in Citi Field this past weekend, and I'll be there for Hollywood Bowl in October. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Philbrick or on Facebook at my name, Jami Philbrick.
And you can find me posting about K-pop as well. Stray Kids comeback starts today. Make sure you check out their stuff. We should do another show called K-pop Council or something with a K. You can find me at Wendy Lee Szany is just my name on both Instagram and Twitter, and here on YouTube under the Movie Couple channel. And of course, don't forget to tune in every day right here on this channel, Hollywood Critics Association, because we have more than just the Pop Council here on the show. We have the Lone Box, we have Horrifically Horrifying, we have Hollywood Approved, What to Stream, and What's Trending in Hollywood all throughout the week. And of course, don't forget about the inaugural HCA TV Awards that is streaming right here on this YouTube channel next Sunday, August 29th at 5 p.m. PT or 8 p.m. ET, depending on where you live. And with that said, we bid you farewell. Stay nerdy, you guys, and we will talk to you all soon.